Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. This week we're going to make a cabochon out of a piece of Unakite we found on the beach. Let's make a cabochon. Let's take a closer look at this week's project. This is a piece of a slab of Unakite from a stone we found on a beach on Lake Superior. The definition of Unakite is a metamorphic rock, also known as an epidotized granite, composed of pink orthoclase, feldspar, green epidote, and often clear quartz. It's a mottled rock, usually opaque, with a mixture of green, pink, and white flecks, and is frequently used for jewelry. I will put this on the screen so you can read it yourself, because all I do is butcher these words. The Mohs of Unakite varies between 6 and 7. I've had really good luck shining some of it, getting a good finish, and then other times it just didn't quite make it. As you can see, the green is the epidote, the pinkish orange stuff is the feldspar, the dark specks I have no idea. Let's get this wet so you can get an idea what it's going to look like finished. So it is pretty, especially when it gets the streaks of epidote in there. And the epidote and the feldspar greatly vary between rocks. I find rocks that are almost green. I've found rocks that hardly had any green in it at all. So this week, we're going to flip it over here. And I'm going to do a modified trapezoid shape, this 1.5 inches, which would be 3.2 millimeters, and approximately by 1/2 inch in the middle there, about 13.2 millimeters. We're going to get up in the corner here. I want the streak kind of running through it there. I think that looks good right there. And get my ultra fine Sharpie here. This is not going in the bezel. It's just going to be hanging on a bail. So we'll get all the way out to the edges here. There we go. So let's take this downstairs and we'll trim it on the trim saw and get it ready for grinding down to the edges on the cab machine. Okay, we're down here on the trim saw. I'm going to plug it in. All right, got a piece of Unakite here. Let's trim it up. Little malfunction there. There, we got it all trimmed out. If you're starting and doing cabochons, Unakite is probably, I would just practice on this. This stuff is usually good, never has any cracks in it, cuts well, shines well. It's just nice to handle. I really like it. All right, I'm on the cabber here. This is my 6-inch Kingsley North cabbing machine. We're gonna take and grind down to the lines here, and then I'll run it on the 80, the 220, and the 280, and then I'll hit it with the 600 over here to polish the edge for the girdle. So let's get started. That's another property Unakite I like. It don't get the fractures along the edges like some of the other stones I've worked on. So you can get a little closer with the 80 grit than you can with some of the other stones. So I'll get hit the 220 here. I think that looks pretty good there. I'm going to move on to the 280 grit. I'm checking the edges to make sure I got all the rough marks out. And a little bit more of this. All right, I'm going to take it over to 600. You're not going to be able to see it here. I'm going to move the camera for that. All right, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to move on and take it upstairs, put a dop stick on it, and we'll bring it back down and make a cab out of this. All right, we're back down on the cab machine. Got the stick dopped onto the cab. Now we're going to start grinding. We'll start with the 80, 220, 280, and then we'll work our way to the polishing side. So let's get going. So I'm shooting for a 1/8 inch to about a 2.5 millimeter girdle on the edge of this thing. So I cut 45 in like this initially to establish my girdle here. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to take this off. I'm going to kind of grind this a little bit on a 45, this top edge here, and then we'll start doming. But I might touch up this girdle just a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and grind off this flat spot up on top here. All right, I'm going to start doming it now. See, right now I think that dome's still a little high, so I'm going to keep working it down a little bit more. I think we can do. I can do a little bit better, at least to my satisfaction. I think I'm happy with the way this dome looks, so I'm going to move on to the 280 grit. Now when I'm pushing on the 80 grit, I'm doing like a light to moderate pressure. Don't push really hard because you can put deep scratches in your piece or you can bust it off the dop stick. Now when I do the 220, all I'm doing is lightly going back and forth, and then I'll start checking to make sure I got the scratches out from the 80 grit. All right, I think that looks good. We're going to move on to the 280 grit. All right, checking for scratches. Now I got wax on the side where the girdle is, and I hate it when I do that. So I'm gonna grind that off with the 280 grit, and then I'm gonna break these edges right here. Looks pretty clean. Got the edges broke, got the wax off the sides. Now we're gonna move over and start polishing it. I gotta reposition the camera here, so we'll shut you off for a bit. So we're over here on the polishing wheels. Got 600, 1500 I think, and 3000, maybe that's 12, I can't ever remember. Someday I'll mark it so I can see, so I can remember what to tell you guys these are. So even on the 600 grit wheel, we're starting to develop a shine here. It's starting to look pretty good, actually. I think we're getting there. Okay, we're going to move to the 3000. Hey, there you go, 3000 grit right there. That's not bad. We're going to hit it with the cerium oxide and maybe give it a little bump here, and probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but it'll make me feel better. I might have to reposition the camera for this too. So, all right, this is cerium disc here. The way they designed this thing is, I don't know what they were thinking. You got to take the side off to get to the nozzle here. And then you got to put a splash guard up or you're going to get a bath. But it works great. Now that is a dry stone right there. That is nice. This is a nice piece of Unakite here. So let's we'll take it upstairs and throw it in the freezer, get the top off. Just to let you know, when I'm going through on the different grits here, I'm probably maybe spending a minute to 2 minutes on each one, and light to moderate pressure seems to be working okay for me. So let's head upstairs and finish this guy up. So we're back upstairs. Got through cabbing this Unakite cabochon here. Had a nice clean break. A lot of minimal scraping of the wax. So let's take a closer look at this. So let's take a closer look at this cabochon we did downstairs today. Got a really good shine on it. Some pieces shine better than others. I've had some that didn't get this quality of a shine here, but this is pretty good. I got the epidote, the green part right here, flowing diagonally through the piece is kind of what I wanted. The black specks, I'm not sure what they are. I'm not even going to guess. But went ahead and smoothed the back. I don't polish it. I broke the edges. There's no sharp edges. So we're going to orient it like this and put a bail on it. I use this E6000. It's worked really good for me. And it just takes a dab. Get a dab here on the bail. And glue the cabochon on. Looks pretty good right there. Let's take a good close look at this. So there you have it. Feldspar, epidote, and quartz, and whatever the black specks are. Oops, it's kind of sliding a little bit. All right, I think we're good. This stone will be available in my Etsy store if you're interested in it. Click on the link down below. And if you don't want to buy it, go there and take a look at it. I got a bunch of other stones there too. Maybe you can get some ideas for your lapidary. Well, thanks for watching me make this cabochon out of this beautiful piece of Unakite I found on the shores of Lake Superior. I'd like to thank my subscribers, and I also appreciate your subscription. It's free. It helps me out a lot. And give me a thumbs up. It helps the analytics get it out there so other people can see this content. Next week, we're going to be making a cabochon out of green tree agate. So come on back and check it out. So that's all I got. We'll catch you later.